Hi, everybody, and welcome to our second segment of Questions for the Mayor.
Hi, I'm Aria, and I go to Pierpont School. I have a question.
What's your question, Aria?
What are the roles and responsibilities of Chief Russo and the police department?
So I can't really answer that question because that's probably a better question for the police chief. So how would you like to go over to the police station and we could ask the chief himself?
Really? Of course.
Now we're going to take a walk over to our police station
Cool.
and our emergency operations center, which is right up there on the second floor, and we're going to meet with the police chief.
Fun. Hi, Chief Russo. What are the roles and responsibilities of you in the police department?
Good afternoon. Thanks for coming. So we have quite a few different roles. First, I'll start with the police department. So traditionally, and what most people believe we do is crime fighting, right? You have to go after the bad guys and prevent bad guys from doing bad things. That's a small part of what we do every day, but it is something that we do. What we also do here in Rutherford, a lot of service-oriented types of calls, right? If someone you know is having a medical emergency, we're the first responders there, and we're trained to assist. And if it's something that we can't handle alone, we're the department that dispatches the Rutherford ambulance and the medics from the local area hospitals. So we would call the ambulance from downstairs in the dispatch room where you just were, and people like the mayor, when he was on the ambulance corps, would respond and have better knowledge of some of the medical emergencies that we were dealing with. Same with fire calls. If we have a house fire or brush fire, car fire, we're usually the first ones there, first ones called, because we receive 911 calls. We determine that there is an issue here that is in need of the fire department. We dispatch them as well. So every time you see the fire trucks, driving through town with the lights and sirens on, we dispatch them to some area within the town. So that's part of the department's responsibilities. We are also responsible for all of the crossing guards that you see out that help you guys cross when you're in school. They fall under their employees under the Rutherford Police Department, and I have a traffic coordinator who handles all of them. So it's quite a lot of work to do, but those are ours as well. We dispatch our public works, our DPW, our garbage trucks and our snow plows. If there's an emergency that requires them to come out, we dispatch them as well. So that's some of the dispatching portions of it. We're also, we have mutual aid, it's called mutual aid agreements. So we would respond to our neighboring town in Lyndhurst, East Rutherford, Passaic, Secaucus, anywhere relatively close. If there's a large-scale emergency, something, say, happens at MetLife Stadium, we would be going down there too, because we're so close. We're what we call a force multiplier until other troops can come in. So that's what we do. We do a lot of outreach, which, you know what that means?
No.
Community outreach. We try to do what we're doing right here with some of our local community groups, so they have a better understanding of what we do. It's not just enforcement, it's being there in your time of need. So we'll go to community groups, we'll go to schools, you'll see us in all the schools, right? Trying to better explain the Rutherford Police Department in particular, because although everyone has their own police department, and they all do their own thing, but they're all responsible for fighting crime and answering emergency calls. We all do things a little bit differently in terms of outreach and community engagement and dealing with our residents. It's our goal to make sure that all of our residents, like you, in addition to all of our visitors that come to all of our stores and our restaurants on Park Avenue, feel safe, and it's a memorable experience. It's an enjoyable experience, and they want to come back. That when people say that to me, that they like the town and they enjoy coming here, it means that we're doing our part on the police department. And what I explained to you is what we all do together as an agency. Around 41, 42 police officers right now. That number can fluctuate at any time. What I do is somewhat different. I'm basically in charge of the entire department. I oversee our patrol division, who are the uniformed officers that you just met downstairs in dispatch. We have a detective bureau, which they're not here right now, but they dress in plain clothes and they investigate crimes and do follow-up investigations from what patrol initially takes. We have a traffic bureau, and then we have an admin community outreach bureau. So I oversee all of those, make sure that the department's running efficiently and effectively. I'm responsible for the budget for the department, running a 24/7 operation with 41 officers and 20-something vehicles. It's not very cheap.
Wow.
So you have to plan accordingly every year for needed funding. And a lot of what we do involves technology. Technology requires regular maintenance and upgrades and licensing fees. So, that's part of the budget process. So that's what I do here. But at the same time, if I'm driving in my police car in town and there's an accident or a call for service, I'll go answer it and handle it. In addition to that, I also have other responsibilities. Currently, I am the president of the New Jersey State Association of Chiefs of Police.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's
Congrats.
thank you. It's been fun and interesting and very tiring, but I get to work with a group of chiefs from around the state, and we meet with legislators and our attorney general and our groups of prosecutors from around the state, try to formulate the best policies and procedures for law enforcement in general, and hopefully guide some of the legislation that comes from our senators and congressmen. So it's a lot of fun, but a lot of work.
Sounds like it.
All right. You want to see around the building?
Yep.
All right, let's go. All right, so this is our display cabinet here in headquarters. It's kind of important to me and a lot of the officers. It shows our history. If you see some of the pictures, they're very old, from the
Yep.
60s. We have some from the 30s. Some of the old articles that we used to use as police officers, the old batons. We don't even use those any longer. And pamphlets from our dinner dance from 1935.
Wow.
This is what a ticket book looked like in the 30s. Yeah.
Very different from
Yeah.
today.
And then we have some newer pictures. You know Officer Arnold?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen her around.
Yeah, she's maybe working this afternoon. Officer Batchelor and Officer Bachman, they did a unity tour ride from here. They drove their bicycles all the way down to Washington, D.C.
Wow.
To honor fallen law enforcement officers. So that's a great picture. That's one of my
Yeah.
favorites. We have old pictures of Rutherford. This is Route 17, believe it or not.
Looks very different.
Oh, yeah.
from back
Yeah. Yeah, this is an old breathalyzer machine. So if you got pulled over for drinking and driving, that was the machine that would test your blood alcohol level. This is our shooting team from 1937.
Cool.
Yeah, pretty cool history, right?
Yeah, a lot of things passed down.
All right. So this is our processing area, okay? Nobody really gets to see this unless, of course, you do the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Then you'll get to see it. But I don't expect you to ever be back down here again. But I'm showing it to you.
I hope not.
Good. So this is where we bring our arrestees. And if they're nonviolent, compliant arrestees, they'll sit here. They'll be handcuffed to the bench. But sometimes we have individuals that just don't want to be here and they don't want to cooperate, and they have to go into the cells here. We have 4 cells, one for juvenile, that's across the way, and then These 3 are for adults, and you can look in and see what they look like. Right? Heavy door.
Thank you. Oh. It's very, like...
Not very appealing, right? Not a place you want to be.
Mm-mm.
But unfortunately, every once in a while we have to put somebody in there, but not very often here in Rutherford. We don't use them too often. But like I said, an arrestee will come into our Sally Port, which is through that door, in a police car. They bring them in, and it's a very secure area. Obviously, you see all the brick walls, heavy-duty doors, steel ceiling. Nobody can get out of here unless you're escorted out by a police officer. And when an arrestee is done here, they go right back out the same way they came in, so they have no access to the building. Very secure and very safe. That's what we want for the prisoners, for the police officers, and for everybody else in the building.
Yes.
All right?
It's better to stay safe than sorry.
You better believe it. You better believe it. And that's our fingerprint machine. So when they come in here, the ones that we can fingerprint, they go right on that machine. It's all electronic. Used to be, when I started, we used to roll out black ink on paper and then roll their fingers on it. And we don't do that anymore. Now it's just a glass tablet. You put your fingers on it, it does it automatically. Yeah, technology. It's great. So that's it. That's our processing area. Let's move on. All right, so this is our dispatch area. This is what I was telling you about upstairs, is the heartbeat of the police department. This is where everything happens. The calls come in here, and we dispatch out to our officers, to the fire department, to the ambulance corps. That's all happening here. That's Lieutenant Kevin Scannell. He is the tour commander today. He's in charge of the entire town, the entire police department and the entire town.
That's a big role.
Yeah, any decision that's being made today, he's making it. And then that's Sergeant Vin Callen over there. He is the road supervisor. He's in charge of all the officers on the street. So Kevin's the big boss, the lieutenant, and then the sergeant responds and he backs up the officers on the calls for service out on the road. If some of them are, very intricate or dangerous, he'll go out there and try and give some guidance to the officers. And that right there, that is Officer Gabby Rabatnera. She's one of our newer officers, but one of our best. We love her. And she is one of the officers that's currently on the road right now. We have 4 or 5 officers out there answering calls.
Yep.
Gabby just had a call involving a dog, a loose dog. She was able to reunite it with its family. So now she just jumped up, dropped all the information, finished the report, and we'll be heading back out onto the road to answer calls.
Cool.
Any other questions? Any questions for the
Nope,
crew?
I think all of them are answered.
All right. All right. Well, it was a pleasure. Thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
All right.
So that was the tour of the police station. What did you think?
I liked it. I got to see what they do, and I got to learn about what they do, and I got to see the whole police station. So
And your meeting with the police chief, did you
yeah,
enjoy
that was fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, and hope you never see the jail cell again.
I hope not either.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.